Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour where musicians pick an album from their back catalog and tell the stories behind their favorite tracks in front of a live online audience.
This week, we talk with singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist Moira Smiley. We revisit her 2021 album In Our Voices that she recorded with vocal group VOCO.
I've always been the person that gets other people to sing, and I love making other people's voices, like almost like amplifying other people's voices with my voice. I love harmony. Like I'm a harmony whore is what I call myself. I just want more. But I have always had that impulse to write songs. And so it was after I was touring for a couple of years with Tune Yards, and she was working on that project and being her backup singer and percussive person, and working on my friend Billy Child's reimagining of Laura Nyro.
Mm.
There were these, Meryl Garbus and Laura Nyro were like these two women that gave no fucks and just did this really dense, interesting music that deeply inspired me and is the kind of music I want to do. And so it kind of made me urgently want to make something and follow through with doing something on my own. This was a project that was like a return for me because Unzip the Horizon in 2016 was kind of the first songwriting solo album. And then I wanted to do more with voices again. And I was finding myself asked by this choral community, hey, can we do that song that you did on that solo album? Can we do that? Can you arrange it for us? And I was happy to do that. And so I found myself reimagining a lot of the same songs. We did a tour at the very start of 2020, this group of 5 people. And we ended up in Mobile, Alabama, and we made the record at the end of the tour. And that was on March 11 and 12 and 13.
Oh, boy.
Of 2020.
Yeah, of 2020. And we were stuck in New Orleans trying to figure out how to get people back to Canada and me back, And so it was a potent memory for us to have had those days together when our lives were just like shutting down, that we were together making this music. And then Black Lives Matter happened and this whole kind of uprising. And so then I decided to add more songs to it to sort of meet the moment. The thing is, I need a producer a lot to like take out my ideas because I have so many. I just like throw spaghetti at the wall. And I'm like, here's more spaghetti. I have more. And you want some sauce? Here's some sauce. And so I noticed, that was a Dave Weber idea to take the banjo out there. And it helps so much. I think we realized that in combining a vocal album that was like really very dense vocals with the body percussion and then having a few instrumental things, we needed to find this common ground between instruments and voices and percussion. And we found that like some things with delay and we actually, I think, increased and enhanced the bass of the steps sometimes. And then I asked a drummer here in Vermont to play in his studio to sort of back up some of the tracks. I was in refugee camps for over the course of 3 summers and volunteering. And it changed my life, of course. And this was in the refugee crisis in Europe. That was in 2016. Of course, there are more displaced people in the world than ever. So this is just a story of love and friendship and empathy that, life is fragile for all of us. Bello was written about a trip I took to learn songs in Ukraine. And so it's about not losing that connection to the powerful voice, your voice that can protest, your voice that can mourn, your voice that can join with other voices and become stronger. So I just wanted to put that into this ether that we're sharing because I so appreciate this space. And Bello is about that kind of keeping that voice strong and sending it to Ukraine, which was a place that really inspired me and inspired my voice. Because I grew up with these traditions of using the voice a cappella in harmony, often my taste was way more sparse than everybody. Some folk traditions have voices doing a whole different thing than songwriters do, which is like singing that accompanies something happening in life, like a ritual, that the song and the reason for singing is different than entertaining or even telling a story. So for me, any singer that calls in these other ways of singing and these other reasons for singing are really cool and exciting to me. I was thinking about how I don't write very many love songs, but I write songs that are for us to sing together to like give us strength when things aren't great. And and in a way, I guess there's always going to be human suffering. um I mean, I'm not laughing at that. It's just sometimes I feel like a love song is kind of eternal, and maybe writing about human suffering is going to be eternal.